We have new details now on the passing of Kirstie Alley. This morning we're learning more about her brief battle with colon cancer. It's the fourth most common cancer diagnosed.
A brief farewell on social media ended Parker Stevenson's silence of more than 2 decades, just as the world was reeling from the death of Kirstie Alley.
She once recalled to People magazine, "I saw him and said to my roommate, for him, I would die."
Behind that heartfelt message lay previously unrevealed aspects of a marriage that was once an icon of Hollywood.
I did enough cocaine to kill several people.
Yeah, I did. I thought I was going to overdose almost every time.
From an unknown girl overcoming the darkness of addiction to reach the throne of sitcoms, Kirstie lived a brilliant life.
Let me see. My choices are, I'm a boozy slut or a complete idiot.
One filled with cruel tragedy and controversial faith choices. What truth led the man who had remained in the shadows for 25 years to break his silence? The journey from the height of fame to her secret final days will gradually be revealed.
Hi, I love you, or, Merry Christmas, or I want a divorce. Whatever you need, I'll deliver.
The final days of 2022 witnessed an unusual silence enveloping the life of Kirstie Alley in Florida. Behind closed doors, the actress faced a fierce and private battle when doctors diagnosed her with colon cancer. Instead of publicly disclosing her health to seek public sympathy, she chose a completely private approach, focusing all her energy on treatment at the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa. This choice reflected a resilient aspect of her personality, wanting to maintain the image of a vibrant woman until her final moments. Even her closest colleagues were unaware of this silent death sentence until the worsening of her condition began to spiral out of control with modern medical interventions. On December 5th, 2022, the world was shocked when her 2 children, William True and Lily Price, officially announced their mother's passing at the age of 71. The sudden news of her death created a shockwave across global media, causing the entertainment industry to pause in mourning for a legendary film icon.
And her family revealed that she died after a brief battle with colon cancer. The statement said she only recently discovered.
Amidst thousands of condolences from A-list stars and loyal fans, attention began to focus on the reaction of the man who had been most deeply connected to her. Parker Stevenson, who had maintained absolute distance from the press since his divorce, now faced the loss of the woman who was once his wife and the mother of his children. The public's anticipation of an official statement created a tense and curious atmosphere. Just one day after the news broke, Parker Stevenson broke his more than 2-decade-long silence with a heartfelt gesture on social media. He shared an old photo, capturing a happy moment between the two of them, accompanied by a short but meaningful message. Parker expressed his sincere gratitude to Kirstie for the years they shared, especially the priceless gift of their beautiful children and grandchildren. This confession contained no reproach or rehashing of past religious conflicts, but rather a dignified and grateful closing. His public expression of "With love, Parker," demonstrated a strong bond that transcended the breakdown of a traditional marriage. The post-funeral period from 2023 onwards saw Parker Stevenson quietly supporting his children in dealing with Kirstie's enormous legacy. The iconic Clearwater Mansion, a property closely associated with her presence near Scientology headquarters, was sold by her children for $5.2 million. Parker acted as a behind-the-scenes advisor, helping William and Lily navigate the complex legal and financial procedures without causing any disputes or media attention. His quiet presence during this period helped the family maintain emotional and financial stability, ensuring a secure future for their grandchildren, fulfilling the actress's final wish. Closing the final material, Ties in Florida, also marked a moment for those left behind to reflect on a long journey where the most brilliant chapters were written through determination and innate talent. To understand why a cinematic legacy has such enduring influence, history must go back to the challenging first steps, the moment she laid the foundation for her glory with a $100 million hit. The $100 million break. Kirstie Alley's film career officially took a turn in 1982 when she landed the role of Lieutenant Savick in the blockbuster Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. With her striking beauty and distinctive blue eyes, she quickly attracted the attention of Hollywood professionals with her ability to embody a character with complex psychological depth. The success of this science fiction film opened up new opportunities, propelling the girl from Kansas deeper into the world of entertainment. As her career began to flourish, her personal life also underwent significant changes when she met actor Parker Stevenson in 1983. At that time, Stevenson was a youth idol thanks to the hit television series The Hardy Boys, and the combination of two beauty icons quickly became the focus of media attention. They officially married on December 22, 1983, building an image of a powerful couple with similar fame and appearance on the small screen. The biggest turning point in Kirstie's television career came in 1987 when she was chosen to replace Shelley Long as the female lead in the hit sitcom Cheers. This risky decision by the producers yielded brilliant results, as her portrayal of Rebecca Howe breathed new life into the show. Audiences and critics alike recognized her talent through a series of prestigious awards, including the Emmy and Golden Globe Awards for Best Actress. Her position in Hollywood was further solidified in 1989 through the enormous commercial success of the film Look Who's Talking. Starring alongside John Travolta, the natural chemistry between the two stars created a global box office sensation, grossing $297 million. This was the peak of Kirstie Alley's career, with her name appearing everywhere from the covers of prestigious magazines to the most expensive film projects. Nevertheless, behind the applause and dazzling spotlight, her family life began to face harsh challenges related to her aspirations to become a mother. In 1990, at the height of her fame, Kirstie suffered a devastating miscarriage in her third month of pregnancy. The pressures of fame and personal setbacks subtly altered her perspective on life and relationships. Her choices to alleviate her emotional pain led her down paths that even her closest partner could hardly understand. The solace she found gradually created an invisible distance, kindling irreparable cracks within their glamorous home. Family choices. After physical setbacks and unsuccessful attempts to conceive, Kirstie Alley and Parker Stevenson decided to build their family life in a different way by adopting a child. In 1992, the arrival of their son, William True, brought new life to the couple's mansion, marking their first experience of parenthood after many years of waiting. This happiness was doubled in 1995 when the family welcomed their second child daughter, Lily Price. To the public at the time, the Cheers star's small family was the ideal model of compensation and compassion, where children were sheltered in luxury and showered with love by some of Hollywood's most powerful parents. Nevertheless, behind the apparent peace of a complete family, ideological differences between the couple began to surface, creating simmering conflicts. Kirstie became increasingly involved in the activities of Scientology, an organization she believed had helped her overcome the darkest periods of her past. She not only dedicated time to intensive courses to reach the level of operating Thetan, but also publicly donated millions of dollars to the organization. Her devotion to the sect inadvertently created an invisible barrier with Parker Stevenson, a man who remained skeptical and resolutely rejected any religious interference in his personal life. The rift between them deepened when they couldn't find common ground on how to raise their two young children. While Kirstie wanted to raise William and Lily according to the strict principles and doctrines of Scientology, Parker insisted on raising them in a civil-free environment separate from specific religious influences. By 1996, Hollywood's golden marriage officially froze when the couple decided to live separately to seek their own space. All attempts at reconciliation through intermediaries from the Scientology sect failed to yield the desired results. Parker Stevenson found his wife's conflict resolution methods based on religious doctrine unacceptable, leading to a complete impasse in finding a common agreement. Silence gradually enveloped their relationship, replacing the happy images that had once dominated the headlines, signaling an inevitable end for one of the most beautiful on-screen couples. The legal process finally concluded in 1997, with a formal divorce decree granted by the court on the grounds of irreconcilable differences. This divorce quickly attracted media attention due to the enormous fortune Kirstie had accumulated during the peak of her career. According to the court agreements, Parker Stevenson received substantial financial support and joint custody to ensure both children received care from both parents. Parker briefly shared about this decision, saying, "We chose to stop so that each of us could move on to the path we believe is right." Although custody was divided equally, the reality of jointly raising William and Lily after the divorce remained a major challenge for both of them. They began establishing a code of conduct and maintaining absolute silence in public about the hidden aspects of their past relationship to protect the children's peace. Parker Stevenson gradually withdrew into the background, leaving the spotlight to Kirstie, who now had to face the constant fluctuations of fame and public judgment alone. New chapters in her life began to unfold, filled with challenges to her identity and personal image under the close scrutiny of the international media. The pressures of being a single mother and a changing career pushed her into new battles where her biggest enemy was sometimes herself. Public attention was no longer focused solely on her acting talent, but began to shift to the private lives and appearance of the star. In the solitude of her peak, bold media choices drew her into a never-ending whirlwind of controversy. The whirlpool of controversy. Entering the new millennium, Kirstie Alley's career gradually shifted away from the traditional molds of popular sitcoms. After the cancellation of Veronica's Closet, she began to face a harsher reality in Hollywood, where public attention shifted from her acting abilities to changes in her appearance. From 2004 onwards, tabloids continuously published comparison photos of her weight changes, turning it into a topic of gossip and analysis across the media. Instead of avoiding it, Kirstie decided to confront public opinion directly by starring in the reality TV series Fat Actress. She used her own personal experiences full of satire about the entertainment industry's harsh treatment of older women as material for the script, and also became a spokesperson for the Jenny Craig weight loss program for many years. Her relationships with former Hollywood colleagues also became a subject of much discussion in television interviews. One of the most striking details is the special bond between her and actor John Travolta, her longtime co-star from Look Who's Talking. Kirstie publicly admitted in a media appearance that Travolta was the greatest love of her life, an intense feeling that lasted for decades. Nevertheless, she always firmly maintained that they never crossed the line of friendship due to the absolute respect she had for Parker Stevenson during their marriage, as well as for Travolta's later marriage. This confession not only reveals a deeply emotional aspect of the actress, but also shows her unwavering commitment to maintaining personal moral standards amidst the temptations of high society. Alongside stories of her private life, her dedication to Scientology has led to heated and tense confrontations on public forums. Kirstie became one of the most fervent defenders of the cult, ready to engage in relentless verbal battles with anyone who criticized the organization. A prime example is the deep rift with actress Leah Remini, a former close friend who decided to leave the cult and publicly expose its dark side. This event propelled Kirstie into the position of a media warrior, unhesitatingly using her influence to refute accusations while affirming her unwavering loyalty to the faith that had saved her life in the past. Kirstie's public support for controversial political figures since 2016 sparked a wave of backlash from fans and colleagues in Hollywood. This outspokenness gradually isolated her from traditional entertainment circles, leading her to choose to leave Los Angeles and spend more time in Florida. This frankness gradually isolated her from the traditional circles of the entertainment industry, leading her to choose to leave Los Angeles and spend more time in Florida. This withdrawal from the turbulent world of Hollywood also brought back memories of her roots and early life events, explaining her resilient, rebellious personality. To fully understand the hidden aspects of the actress's thoughts and later decisions, the narrative must revisit the early chapters where storms had already tested the young girl's character in her hometown. Family tragedy. Kirstie Alley's journey began in Wichita, Kansas, where she grew up in a middle-class family with basic traditional values. From her teenage years, she displayed a strong personality and a hidden rebellion, always yearning to escape the tranquility of her Midwestern countryside. In 1970, still a young and dreamy girl, she decided to marry her schoolmate, Bob Alley. This first marriage was peaceful, but it wasn't enough to hold back her ambitious soul. In 1977, even though the divorce papers were officially signed, she made a surprising choice to keep her ex-husband's surname as her stage name for her future career, an affirmation of identity that would stay with her for the rest of her life. Her career didn't begin brilliantly under the spotlight, but started with interior design work in the treacherous city of Los Angeles. The late 1970s became her darkest period when she fell into a severe cocaine addiction, an inevitable consequence of her stagnant lifestyle and the pressure of finding her place in the film industry. In a crisis of identity and health, Kirstie sought help from the Narconon Rehabilitation Program of the Scientology sect in 1979. Successful recovery not only helped her regain control of her life, but also forged a strong belief in the organization. This pivotal moment explains her unwavering loyalty and tireless contributions to the sect for the next 40 years. Just as her mental state was stabilizing, a devastating event struck in 1981, permanently altering Kirstie Alley's life. A horrific car accident caused by a drunk driver crashed head-on into her parents' car in her hometown of Kansas. The collision resulted in her mother's immediate death and her father's severe injuries, leaving a deep psychological scar on the young woman. This double tragedy was both the ultimate pain and the final catalyst that pushed her to leave Kansas and fully immerse herself in Hollywood with unwavering determination. She understood that she had no way back, and success in film was the only way for her to affirm her self-worth in the face of her family's immense losses. The harshness of the past molded Kirstie Alley into a resilient woman, haunted by the need for survival and the protection of unwavering faith. The profound experiences, ranging from the absolute darkness of heavy substance addiction to the shattering pain of losing loved ones, prematurely created an incredibly tough, impenetrable emotional shell, ultimately helping her stand completely firm against all the intense public controversies that followed in her later years. Every single step she took within the high-pressure environment of Hollywood carried the distinct, unmistakable echoes of her turbulent early years in Kansas, a foundational period where a resilient star was essentially born from the literal ashes of an overwhelming family tragedy. This raw Kansas upbringing provided her with a unique, unyielding survival instinct, serving as a protective armor when the relentless glare of the international media began to dissect her personal choices, her fluctuating physical appearance, and her unconventional spiritual commitments. The abrupt, violent loss of her mother in the devastating 1981 highway collision, coupled with her own grueling, solitary triumph over chemical dependency just a few years prior, deeply instilled a permanent sense of urgency and defensiveness within her character. She approached the competitive entertainment industry not merely as an aspiring artist seeking superficial validation, but rather as a battle-tested survivor who had already looked into the abyss of personal ruin and managed to pull herself back through sheer force of will. Consequently, the later boycotts from industry peers, the harsh tabloid mockery, and the intense polarization surrounding her public statements failed to break her spirit, as these career setbacks paled in comparison to the real-world horrors she had already endured and conquered before ever tasting true fame. Parker's 25-year silence and his decision to speak up at the very end was not only an act of kindness, but also a reminder of the value of strong family bonds that transcend all heartbreak. If you find today's story about Kirstie Alley's inspiring, tumultuous journey meaningful, please support us by liking and sharing this video with others who also admire her. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can meet again in our next videos, decoding the lives of Hollywood icons. And you, what role or moment in Kirstie Alley's life do you remember most? And what are your thoughts on how Parker Stevenson broke the silence in such a humane way? Please leave your opinions in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thank you for watching and accompanying us on this journey. Hello and goodbye.